What's up, everybody? I'm Dustin from DC Media, and today we're going to be checking out the most popular budget-minded case from 2016. While at no surprise, it was the NZXT S340 case. While this case didn't do that much that was just out of the box amazing or astonishing, what it did do, it did right. With the implementation of the basement covering the PSU, giving you options on where to hide your basic hard drives and extra cable, the bay window here so that we can actually see inside the system with SSD mounts on top of the basement so that we can show off those beautiful SSDs since they're becoming more and more aesthetically pleasing, to that cable management bar right over there to the side, being a reservoir mount for those of you that want to go water cooling, or for those of us that just want a little bit of extra color. You can paint that, color that, whatever you want to do to give your case just a little bit more aesthetic pleasing. Again, while this case did nothing over the top amazing, it just did the small things pretty much right. Had some pretty good feet on the bottom to get you some clearance in case you're mounting your case or you're setting your case on carpet. The power supply mount with thumb screws, so that way you can pull undo your thumb screws, pull out the power supply mount. And just remember, if you have a modular power supply, install whatever cables you're going to need before you permanently mount your power supply in. Otherwise, you have to pull it back out because it's hard to reach whenever you have any hard drives or your wiring's already there. It's really hard to get in there to get to them. The next complaint would be the HDD drive bays in the bottom of the case. Whenever you remove the front, and so you remove the front part of the case, you remove the grill in there, you can get to the front, or I guess the side at this point, of the HDD the cage, so you can put the couple screws in to secure your drives. However, there's no rubber grommets, and the other screws that come in from the inside are best installed with either a short screwdriver or before you install your power supply unit. My suggestion, before you install your power supply unit. Even with a short screwdriver with wiring down there, you're going to find yourself saying probably some colorful language during that process. It can be a pain. Now, since this case is a mid-tower case and not extraordinarily large, you'll find yourself with a decent amount of extra cable length if you're going with just standard cables. Everybody's always got to message you whenever you're trying to make videos. Where was I? With this only being a mid-tower case, you're probably going to wind up with some extra cables because most cables are a little bit longer for the full tower cases. However, with this basement, you can simply zip tie your cables up or Velcro strap them into a little bit of a bundle and tuck them in beside the hard drive bay and the power supply unit. So cable management isn't all that bad. In fact, it's actually pretty easy and doesn't take a lot of time to do, while maintaining a very, very good look from the front of the case. The only issue I ever found with this particular case is whenever you're running all those cables up behind the cable management bar, where it comes out at the bottom of the bar, right between the bar and the basement, it can be a little bit too bulky and cause a little bit of an issue with how the back of the case slides on. You either have to push the cables down, supply a little bit of pressure, or rerun a couple of the cables so that way it slides on just a little bit more easy. Now, with that being said, I don't really have any complaints from this case. For what it is and the price point that it falls in, it's a great case. However, whenever you're looking at a case that you can utilize to move forward, if water cooling is in the budget outside of an AOI, well, you're probably not going to want this case. Now, if all you're doing is AOI, this case is great. You can run a thin mount 280 millimeter rad in the front, like the Kraken X61. That's what we had in it. Worked out great. You could also run a 120 millimeter radiator back here in the back. Now, there's a 120/140 mount in the top of the case, but you cannot put a radiator up there in most cases unless you re-drill some holes. Mainly because They centered the hole for the fan instead of offsetting it to the front of the main windowed side of the case. So clearance is actually an issue. You'll have RAM clearance, you'll have motherboard clearance if your motherboard has larger heat sinks on it. So in most cases, it's not really going to work, which is unfortunate because if this case would have been a little bit more optimized, maybe made it a half an inch wider or less, and then move the fan over and allowing maybe a 240 mount on top, now you're talking about an entirely different setup and one that I could get on board with doing water cooling. Otherwise, you're pretty much limited to just a CPU and a single GPU. You're not really going to get a lot of motherboard cooling, which doesn't really do a lot in most cases anyway. But you're definitely probably not going to have enough radiator space if you wanted to do SLI. Now, yes, there are people out there doing SLI and so much more in these cases and modding them all the heck. I'm just talking to the average person here who's not going to go and want to cut up their case in order to make this work for their needs. However, if you're not going to be doing anything outside of an AOI or maybe maybe a single hybrid card so that way you just have a 120 that you can place back here in the back, if that's all you're planning on doing, this is a perfect case. Or the new Elite with the tempered glass, which you'll see in our show just a little later on. Still waiting to get our hands on ours because I'm being a little bit picky on what I want. Mainly because I think we might be doing something special with that case once we get it. We're going to be doing something special with this case, but you got to stay tuned to the shows to find out what we're going to do. I can tell you in a video coming up soon, we're going to be doing a build in this case, and we got special plans for it. So make sure you stay tuned and you check out what we're doing with it. But apart from that, this case is super simplistic, super easy, and very good looking case. With no optical bays, the entire windowed area is completely open and free of obstruction. You get the radiator mount in the front, you get the fans in the top and back. It's an excellent looking case. Unfortunately, we didn't get any video of the case, so all we have is a couple pictures. Oh man, talking is some luxury right now apparently. But we have a couple pictures, so we'll get them up there as guys take a look at them, what it looks like with the fully built PC inside. If you go on the internet and look up Google, go look at S340s, there is actually entire forums just for this case, for case modding and builds in general. So if you want to see what other people are doing with this case, there's a lot of great places to go with a lot of great ideas. Now, some of the ideas aren't so great, some of them are amazing, some people have some just amazing builds in these things, and they surprise even me. Now, I'm not worried about case modding myself. I have no problems with cutting this thing in half and building something with it. But that's not what this case was intended for when I got it, and it's not what it's intended for now with what we're doing with it. So, if you're interested in case modding, hey, just hang on. We have some things coming up here soon, and we're going to have some case modding going on, whether it's going to be some powder coating, some cutting, and things like that, adding, subtracting some windows. It's going to be an interesting build for a couple different things, so be sure to stay tuned. Might even see a couple S340s come through that we might even be doing some custom cutting on and adding some windows just to give it a little bit more of a sex appeal, if you will, and make it a little more streamlined with what we're seeing today with tempered glass. So with that being said, guys, I appreciate you guys for watching. This is the NZXT S340 case, which was the best budget case, or not best, but most popular budget case at the least, for 2016, and not quite for 2015, although it came pretty close. But again, guys, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. If you have any comments or desires or, heck, whatever, if you just want to chit-chat, comment sections below. We'll get to all your guys' comments as best that we can, and we always look forward to new show ideas, video ideas, whatever. But again, guys, thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Take it easy.